like to call to order tonight's Finance Committee meeting for March the 11th, 2024. If you're staying with me at this time, we have our invocation followed by our blessing. Dear Lord, we once again come thanking you for the gift of another day. Thank you for all the blessings that you restored in each and every one of our lives. Just ask that you would just look upon us tonight, the city leaders as we come together. Let the decisions that we make, those things that we have to confront tonight, those that will be done in your will and in your way. These are many of the blessings we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Finance Committee agenda item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Finance Committee minutes of February the 12th, 2024, or take other necessary action.
Reviewing the minutes, are there any corrections or additions to our minutes?
Move for approval.
I have a motion and a second to approve our minutes. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Carlin Boyati Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds. Jamie Stout. Yes. Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes. Item number 1 passes. Item number 2, please.
Consider approval of claims for all city departments February the 3rd, 2024 through March 1, 2024, or take other necessary action.
Do we have a report from the purchasing committee?
Yes, the purchasing committee did meet this afternoon and we approved the claims, so I move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve our claims list. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Carlin Boyati Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes. Item number 2 passes. Item number 3, please.
Consider approval of lowest and best bid from RJR Enterprises for the Langston Park Splash Pad project for the base bid amount of $272,715.50 with an alternate A1 bid of $18,315 for an additional shade structure for a total of $291,030.50 or take other necessary action.
Mr. Wilkinson?
Committee members, we had only had 2 bidders, but they were good bids, and we would recommend RJR Enterprises for that amount of $291,030.50.
Thank you. Questions from Mr. Wilkinson? Move for approval. We have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Carlin Boyati Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes. Item number 3 passes. Item number 4, please.
Consider approval of an application for an Assistance of Firefighters grant for a heavy rescue vehicle and if awarded to receive said grants and authorizing the use of the city's matching grant funds of $85,000 for the required 10% match or take other necessary action.
Mr. Moore, Chief Moore.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, that time of year again to apply for AFG through the federal government. As you guys know, a lot of our fleet is starting to get up there in age, so this will be a good opportunity to apply for this grant, replace one of our aging rescue vehicles, which we carry all of our specialized equipment on, Jaws of Life, rope rescue equipment, things like that. So we do recommend approval. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Chief
Move for
Moore?
approval. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Carlin Boyati Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes. Item number 4 passes. Item number 5 has been scrapped from tonight's agenda, so this is adjourned to the Finance Committee meeting.
Welcome to tonight's Public Works Committee meeting, March 11th, 2024. Item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Public Works Committee minutes of February 12th, 2024, or take other necessary action.
Everyone had a chance to review the minutes. Do you have a motion or any recommendations?
approval.
Second. Motion is second. Roll call, please.
Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Carolyn Boyd Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Item number 1 passes. Item number 2, please.
Consider approval of ordinance number 4225A, an ordinance amending the City of Muskogee Code of Ordinances, Chapter 90, zoning regulations, Article 12, on-site development standards, Section 04-05A, fences in residential districts, providing for repeal or severability and setting an effective date, or take other necessary action.
Counselor Scott?
Yes, I was approached by several different residents of the city to increase our backyard fences for residential areas from 6 foot to 8 foot. So I would like to propose that and have direct staff to update all ordinances, and that needs to be updated.
Second. So we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Carolyn Boyd Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes. Item passes. Item number 3, please.
Consider approval of ordinance 4229A, an ordinance of the City of Muskogee by amending Chapter 2, Administration, Article 5, Boards and Commissions, Division 12, Municipal Employees Retirement Board, Section 2-470, Established Functions and Duties, Meetings, Quorum, Section 2-471, Membership, Election, and Qualifications, Section 2-472, Terms and Representation by Department, providing for codification, repealer, severability, and setting an effective date.
Members of the committee, the Municipal or Non-Uniform Employee Retirement Board has been inactive for a few years, and there are currently no sitting board members. The proposed amendment would be to move the election of board members from December to April to enable convening a committee by election in April of 2024. This proposed amendment would also remove the requirement that a city council member be on the board and have all board members be elected by city employees. I'm happy to answer any questions, and staff recommends approval.
Thank you, Ms. Eden. Any questions for Mrs. Eden? Any further discussion from the council?
I just have a question, Tracy. Why would you remove anybody from city council? Just curious.
So, and in talking with Maggie, in practice, there've never been a city council member on the committee in the times that it had been convened. And that's why they moved proposal, Katrina helped craft this, but proposal was to make the ordinance match the practice that was already in place.
Thank you.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Can I ask a question on that? Was council notified that there was an opportunity for us to serve?
My understanding is that this committee has been inactive for a number of years. And so I don't know if prior chair was tenured here today, if anyone was ever notified or not. It's been many years since this was active.
There's not staff objection to council serving. This council had not been, so we matched the ordinance. If council would like to have someone serve on the committee, there's no objection from staff. Whatever your pleasure is, we just would like to reconstitute the committee.
We do have a motion and a second. What's the pleasure of the body? So move forward, roll call.
Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Carolyn Boyd Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
No.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Item number 3 passes. Item number 4, please.
Consider approval of amended City Council Policy 3-1-1, Affirmative Action Plan for fiscal year 2022-2023, or take other necessary action.
Mrs. Eden.
The purpose of the affirmative action plan is to identify organizational components and job categories within the City of Muskogee's workforce in which minorities and women are not represented in proportion to their availability in the labor force, and to devise and implement strategies to achieve equitable representation. Strategies have been developed over the last few years and continue to be modified as the need arises for hiring qualified minority candidates. As you saw in your packet, the changes made were updating data and committee member names because some of the members have no longer work here. The effective date of the policy would be the date approved by City Council, and this policy includes amended data, obviously for the current and past fiscal year. And I'm happy to answer any questions, and staff recommends approval.
Thank you, Ms. Seaton. Do you have any questions for Mrs. Eden? Any discussion?
Yes, Tracy, I do. I was looking at your ratio, and then when you actually look at the existing care and administration, where is your diversity there? I know we got names listed, but when you look at the administration that we have today, just kind of figure out where your diversity.
Sorry, which page is that?
Is it just Sunny Brown? 55. I might be off.
Are you asking about the members of the committee? The names?
I'm asking about the diversity in administration, because that's,
Sorry.
you don't have it, you can get back, that'd be fine. I'm just curious.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I was just asking about the diversity in the administration. I said, but if you don't have it, you can, I'll give you time to find it.
I can get the
and
answer
back.
for you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mrs. McGee. Any further discussion? Entertain a motion. You can call one more time and entertain a motion. Third call. Item fails to elect the motion.
If I may, this is, we're just amending council policy. Would the council like to have additional information and have it presented to kind of city council? Is there any direction to staff to follow the council policy that has been in place that we need to amend and update annually? That's the council calls for us to do that, and so we'd like direction on when, and if you'd like for us to represent this, or if we need to change the council policy and not require this activity anymore, let us know.
Mike, can you just put it in the packet for next week, what the demographic is for the administration, for what that looks like for the administration?
Sure.
That's all I
I
ask.
believe, well, I mean, if you don't mind, can we look at it now just for a moment, just to make sure that I understand that? You can help me out here, because we do have different categories and they're all listed on page 26. And so there's officials / managers, and it shows a percentage of males and females that are officials / managers, and it shows the ethnic makeup of those. And so that top line, so, for instance, 49% of our officials / managers are Caucasian males. Okay, so you just kind of read across, and that's the percentage of people that fall into any of those categories, again, that are historically identified, and we're just updating the policy to reflect our current makeup. And so when you talk about individual people, that's not the purpose of this report. It's to talk about the diversity within our employment population as compared to the diversity of the city of Muskogee.
Mm-hmm.
So my question, is that the information that you're looking for, or is there something else? Because that is the function of this report that we do annually, is to showed those.
So if I'm reading this correct, let me just, so I can be clear here. If I'm reading this graph on 26 rec, and if I'm looking in the category of office manager, right? And I'm looking for a female, and I'm looking for Afro-American female, I would see that there's 0. If I'm looking for a professional, and I'm looking for Afro-American, it's 0. If I see a technician, it's 0. Am I reading that correctly?
Yes.
you are.
Thank you.
So keep in
Thank
mind that our workforce is 73 females and 326 males.
I understand.
That, when there's zeros in that category, we're talking 0 out of 73 in that one particular category.
The other thing, may I be
I'm going on
recognized?
down.
Yes,
May I be recognized?
Yes, ma'am.
The other thing, when you're dealing with affirmative action, this information on page 26 is information that is already existing with our workforce.
Right.
And we have to keep in mind that qualifications and experience dictates whether or not you're going to be placed in a position. Not simply because you're a specific person from a ethnic or racially diverse group. You have to look at experience. You have to look at that. You just can't put somebody in a position just because they are a different race or color. So that's why I wanted to say something about this. But this list here is just the makeup of what is existing in the city employment base now. And what you're saying, Mr. Miller, is that nothing has changed. This was just information that was presented to the council so that we could see what the makeup is.
Right, yeah, there's a council policy that asks us to present this information to you every year, and that's what we're doing. And we may not need to have another agenda item in the future. I just wanted to clarify why we're doing this today, and if there's information that isn't in here.
Then that information could be given at a later date, and we could go ahead and bring this to a vote tonight.
After hearing the report from the manager and other comments, I'd like to request that.
Mrs. Bonehammer?
That's affirmative. It's
Yes,
affirmative motion.
thank you. Okay, so yes, we can still entertain a motion.
I move for approval. Second.
So I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Thank you, Mrs. E. Thank you, Mr. Miller. Clarification. Roll call, please.
Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Vernon Royale Craig. Yes. Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout. Yes. Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Item passes. Item number 5, please.
Consider approval of resolution number 2977, amending Appendix A, Schedule of Fees and Charges to the City of Muskogee Code of Ordinances, wholesale customers' water rates, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Miller?
Yes, the city of Muskogee is a good neighbor to the communities around us, and as such, we sell the water that we produce at our water treatment plant to those communities. By state law, we can only charge those communities or rural water districts the actual cost. We can't make a profit selling to another wholesaler, another city, or another rural water district. But we do, from time to time, update what those actual costs are. And as each of you know, our water rates for our citizens have gone up over the years. And we've taken on additional, we've invested 13 plus on our way to $17 million in our water infrastructure over the last few years. And so the cost of producing that water has gone up, and this is just reflective of that to pass on to our wholesale customers. We're bringing it forward at this time so that when those contracts come up for renewal, typically July 1, that those water systems have some notice as they look to plan their budget years moving forward. So we do recommend approval. This allows us to recoup all of our costs instead of subsidizing the cost of our neighbors for production of water.
Move for approval.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or any questions from Mr. Miller? Roll call, please.
Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Vernon Royale Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Item number 5 passes. Item number 6, please.
Receive report on the upcoming annual azalea cleanup to take place March 20th through March 23rd, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes, Samantha Henderson, our stormwater technician, is going to show you a PowerPoint that gives you some history on the program and just kind of inform you of the dates that this event's going to happen and some of the things that we're going to do. I will tell you while she's getting ready to present it that I've been associated with this program most of my career here and have seen nothing but improvement year after year in this program. And want to especially mention former Mayor Coburn. It's what when he took over as mayor and this program came that year, it's like he put it on steroids, and we really picked up the intensity, the public participation, and the amount that actual staff does. So really proud of the program and help Samantha answer any questions after her presentation.
Thank you very much. Ms. Henderson?
Good evening. So, as Mike mentioned, the Azalea Cleanup has been around for many years. The purpose of the Azalea Cleanup is to literally go around and pick up trash and clean up the city in order to beautify Muskogee before the Azalea Cleanup, which is in this month of April from the 1st through the 30th. So again, this year the cleanup is March 20th through the 23rd and is organized through the City of Muskogee Public Works Department Stormwater Division. Now there's a lot that goes on to organizing and preparing for the Azalea Cleanup. It is quite an endeavor and takes quite a few personnel through the Public Works Department. I actually start advertising and working on the Azalea Cleanup in January, sending out massive amounts of emails and starting on phone calls. We do a lot of water bill inserts trying to hit all 5 billing cycles. We send out a press release. We put it in the Muskogee Phoenix. We put it on Channel 14 News, Okie Country Radio Station 101.7. We did that this year during the Muskogee Minute. And then we also have banners that are displayed throughout town. And hopefully you have seen those banners displayed throughout the city. I was able to obtain sponsorship through Love Bottling this year, and this is a picture of our new Azalea banners that are displayed. We were able to receive 8 through Love Bottling. So, we also advertise in the Channel 8 newsletter. A Facebook event was created. We have several Facebook posts that go out. It's been on Instagram. It's on our city website. We have it in the employee newsletter, and then also in flyers posted throughout the city, and also lots of handouts. I have it at not only City Hall, but the Muskogee Public Library, the Martin Luther King Center, the Recycling Center, and actually my guys at the Recycling Center has handed out numerous flyers. And then, of course, the most important would be word of mouth, because every place I go, I let everybody know, hey, the Azalea Cleanup's coming up. Sign up to clean up. When we ask our volunteers to sign up, this is what we're asking. We want them to clean up a park, a school, a street, the neighborhood, or part of the Centennial Trail. Just any place where you see trash that needs to be picked up. People call in and let me know, hey, this area is pretty bad. Can we have somebody clean this area up? So we were able to assign certain spots to certain individuals. If you recall last year when I came to present my statistics, we had 63 groups participate and 1,075 volunteers. Last year, we also collected 624 bags of trash, over 500 tires, 194 loads went to the material yard, and 13 illegal dump sites were cleaned up, along with lots of the Centennial Trail and all the parks in the city. Again, this year, the Azalea Cleanup is March 20th through the 23rd, which is literally just next week. I am looking for a lot of volunteers. Right now, I'm setting at about approximately 960 volunteers. I would like to reach 1,200. So we offer supplies for our volunteers, and I hand them out at the south side of the Civic Center. We are going to be handing out supplies this year on all 4 cleanup days between 9 and 3. We provide the volunteers with reflective vests for safety, along with gloves, grabbers, and trash bags. Also this year, the free dump days will run at the same time as our 4 cleanup days. The landfill is going to be closed during construction during this time, so all the trash will be taken to the material yard. The material yard, along with the brush and limb site, will both be open 7 to 3. So again, I said I had about 960 volunteers, and I would like to have about 1,200 plus. So I'd like to offer you guys a challenge. I would like for you to encourage individuals and groups in your wards to sign up to clean up, okay? Maybe we can see which one of the wards can get the most volunteers. send me a list of the volunteers. After the cleanup is done, we'll see which one of you were able to get the most volunteers. And this can earn you some bragging rights as to which of the wards received the most volunteers. So how do they sign up? They can simply email me, shenderson@muskogeaonline.org, or call my office, 918-684-6340. It's also on the Muskogee website, how to contact me and get a hold of me. And I would also like to make sure that I point out, we have a lot of volunteers, not just the volunteers that pick up trash, but a lot of the volunteers to work to make this event successful. Tara was instrumental in helping me with all my social media advertising, which was a great help. We also have volunteers that hand out supplies during the azalea cleanup. The traffic department has had a big time with all this wind, trying to keep all my banners displayed throughout town. And then, of course, we have the street sanitation and environmental control, which will also all work during the material yard collection of the trash and at the brush and limb site. So I want to say thank you, and we're looking forward to a very successful cleanup this year. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to reiterate one point that Samantha made, and that's the landfill will not be accepting the trash this year. They've got a project going that will not accommodate the public. So we're making a bigger area at our material yard on South Cherokee, 1500 block South Cherokee. And want to make sure that everybody knows it can be brought down there all 3 days. But I'm afraid we might get some criticism because people are used to taking some up to the landfill. The landfill allows us to load the trash from the material yard and take it out there during this period, but they wanted to keep the traffic flow down. So just want to make you aware.
Any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Consider approval of the use of Muskogee Davis Regional Airport for a Tora event sponsored by Davisville Aviation, our FBO operator at the airport, with financial and promotional support to visit Muskogee or take other necessary action.
Yes, Mr. Saffel is still away due to some health issues. And so we're assisting out at Davis Field, Marshall Weitzman and myself. And we came across this Tora a little bit late in the game, and we apologize for that, but we're trying to play catch up and make sure all our I's are dotted and T's are crossed. I've asked Mike Anderson, who is owner of Davisfield Aviation, who is our FBO at Davisfield, and the FBO is fixed based operator, basically as I describe it, the gas station. But Mike has come to explain the event. He's a member of Tora, and by the way, I've flown with him many times, one of the best pilots I've flown with. So, Mike? That's true.
You're blind. Basically, what we do, we're the oldest continuous civilian air show act in the business. We're older than the Blue Angels, the Thunderbirds, everybody. We recreate the attack on Pearl Harbor. It's a very patriotic demonstration. If you go to an air show and you stand by the announcer and hear, if you ain't got a tear in your eyes when it's all over and everything else, there's something wrong with it. It's very patriotic. We're honoring those who had served and those who are serving now and everything else, because we don't want to forget our history and what happened and everything else. These aircraft were in the movie in 1970, Tora. They were replicas. They're not real. They're replicas. And so after the movie, the studio sold them off, and the air show act Tora came in. And I've been flying with them myself for 18 years. So anyway, so we have to have a practice every year. So we're just doing our practice. It's not an air show. We're just doing our practice. So there'll be a bunch of airplanes just flying around. We're not closing the airport. We will have the Oklahoma National Guard temporary tower to help us with traffic control and stuff like that. They come down and train anyway several times a year. R.J. Harris used to be our airport manager, kind of over that deal. So we're excited about it. It's kind of the first year we've been doing it for the last 40 years plus in the Houston, Texas area. So because of the constraints and flying schools at the airport, we were looking for a place to move to. The city, convention and tourism have been really helpful. We'll have over 30 rooms that the guys will come in, probably spending $10,000 in town with everything that we're buying and doing, and food and everything else. And so we're excited as a group about it and everything else. We've also talked, Mike, Tyler, we've also talked next year, if it all goes good and everybody likes it, we'd like to make it a bigger event and incorporate the south ramp at the airport, like maybe do our touch a truck, bouncy houses, kind of make it, again, it's not an air show, but it's a get people out to the airport, see what's going on. I've always said it a million times, activity breeds activity. And, I think it's a good deal for the city, good thing to raise awareness of the airport and stuff like that. And we've had lots of calls already. So that's basically the thumbnail sketch of kind of what goes on and what's happening. Do you all have any questions you'd like to ask? Okay. I'll sit down and shut up and go see my grandbabies. Thank y'all, we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Authorize use of the airport.
Move for using the airport for exploratorial practice.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Carolyn Boyd Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Lewis.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Staff.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Jerry Creed.
Yes. Item passes. Item number 8, please.
Consider approval of the purchase of 112 two-yard dumpsters from Waste Whip for a total amount of $53,483 via the Sourcewell Purchasing Agreement, RFP number 040621, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart.
Yes, Chairman and Committee, this is an item to purchase, like it was read, 112 two-yard dumpsters. We have about 500 in town that the city has. It's the beechwood color or the kind of the creamy brown, or the city of Muskogee. Some of ours are many years old. The bottoms are rotting out of it, and we need to step up our replacement program. This will get us a 112 of the two-yard dumpsters, and we bought 25 last year, so we're catching up, and we're getting some of these traded out, which is a great thing for us in the aesthetic world. It makes our dumpsters look better, and they need to have good lids and work well. This is a price of $464 each. This is a budgeted item. We pay for this out of the 212 account, which we always bring to you every year, and have approved at budget time to move money from or move money into the 212 sanitation account. And that's what it's for, is to purchase new sanitation equipment, dumpsters, and polycarts and trash trucks. So we do recommend approval. This is through the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Agreement, and I'll answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Any questions from the council? Entertain a motion. Second. We have a motion and a second. There's no further discussion. Roll call, please.
Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Carolyn Boyd Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Booth.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Staff.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Jerry Creed.
Yes.
Item passes. Item number 9, please.
Receive report on street rehabilitation projects funded by the 2019 CIP street sales tax, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart.
Yes, Mr. Rigney is going to help me on this item, but I will tell you before he starts, he's got a PowerPoint he wants to show. But before he starts, this was presented at the last street committee meeting, and the manager asked us to go ahead and present it to you as well. I want to remind you that when we started this program, this was a maintenance program for streets. This is not a complete rebuild of the city street. We deal with sub-bases that fail. We deal with different things when we do these projects. And one of the problems that we have, we put this heavy equipment on these streets, and as many miles as we're paving, there is going to be some failure in the project. We're going to sit here and tell you that there's not much. Avery and I look at them. We do identify them, and then we try to get them fixed as we notice it. But there is going to be failure in the maintenance program. Again, it's not rebuilding the street. It's simply milling the top off and replacing it. And then saying that, I'll turn it over to Avery, and I'll help him answer questions if you need me to.
All right, well, we'll get started. So just a couple of reminders before we get all the way into what we've done so far. The point of this PowerPoint is to show you where we stand now, several years deep into the project. So some reminders is this was an additional 0.33% sales tax that was approved by the voters. It was $12 million in sales tax revenue projected with a $12 million in match from the City of Muskogee Foundation. There's a lot of streets in town, but our primary focus was to be on residential streets. And the goal for this, which is the largest street maintenance project that the city's ever put together, but the goal for this was to clean the chalkboard and get a shot of adrenaline for the street maintenance program that we currently have and kind of get us caught up so we have something more maintainable to take care of and provide for our residents. Like Mike mentioned, this is maintenance, not new construction, so we do deal with some sub-base failures, particularly in the older parts of town where the roads were just kind of laid on the dirt that was there. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. And then we'll talk about what we can do for road maintenance. And those are things like mill and overlay, just an overlay, micro seal. We have some concrete work and traffic work that we've done that we'll talk about. So prior to the CIP project taking place, we had a pavement condition index done. And that's a van that rides around the city with a little radar and a guy laying on the floor and looking through, and he takes the reading of the condition of the street. And it takes a lot of things into account, the sub-base, the asphalt condition, and a few other things. So our current residential streets are 230 miles, and out of those 230, there's 178 miles of asphalt or chip seal and 52 miles of concrete. If you look over on that table on the right-hand side of the screen, we have 310 total miles of streets in town, but as we said, we're primarily focused on the residentials. So the pavement condition index on average for the city was a 56, which is not great, but it's not bad. That's kind of the average for the cities in Oklahoma. We all deal with the same type of things, freeze and thaw cycles and the type of soil we have. We did have 82 miles of street below a 60 PCI, and below a 45 PCI, we have 48 miles of street. So now that we're several years into this process, after the CIP is completed, we think that will be around a 70, which is a substantial improvement. But we want to make sure of that, so after this, we'll be reassessing the streets and they'll be assigned a new PCI. But staff, me and Mike and our street department, we've been inspecting these projects as we go, and we keep a running total. Do you have something?
Yeah, I would like to add that when we do that PCI index rating, we will do that with an outside company, which will come to council for approval. So it won't be in-house, it will be somebody else that'll come in and do that assessment.
Yes, thank you for the clarification. So in our first zone, the Northwest Zone, we had a mill and overlay completed in 2023, a micro seal completed in 2023. We also paid for 1/4 of the Viaduct Four Corners project, and we had traffic striping that was completed in 2024. In the Northeast Zone, we had a mill and overlay that was completed in 2001, as well as a micro seal completed in 2001, and in 2023 and 2023 and 24. We've done several concrete projects, large-scale concrete projects in the area. One of those being Haskell and Utah intersection. That was redone in December of 23. Country Club multi-panel replacement was completed in 23, and Gibson Street from York to Daisy was completed just last month. And we've done several traffic improvements there as far as striping, as well as another 1/4 of the Four Corners. The Southwest Zone, we're about 80% complete with the mill and overlay. APAC has that job, and they're working on it currently. We completed our micro seal in 2024, and we also have part of the Four Corners project. And then the Southeast Zone, we're working on our mill and overlay there. We're about 95% complete with it. What we've got left to do is our final inspection. We've got a great contractor, Ross Construction, who they've gone back and taken some samples of the asphalt, and we've done some pull and replace on Cherokee, Augusta, and Gulick. And that's one of the things that happens when you put down so many tons of asphalt. You have some that comes from the plant, and it's not necessarily up to standard, but we've got a good inspection team and a great contractor, and we catch those types of things. So that's where we stand right now with the Southeast Zone, is we're correcting some of those findings that we had. And we'll be bringing a final pay to the council after those are corrected. The other thing to remember with the southeast zone is there is a particular street improvement to Country Club right in front of Creek Elementary that has some funding allocated to that, and we're currently in the utility relocation phase. We also have a micro seal that's pretty substantial in this area of town, and that will take place late this summer. So in summary, after all is accounted for, there's about $2.5 million left for us to use as we wrap up this project. And those projects will come through the street committee for approval and recommendation. And I wanted to make sure that there was a couple of groups recognized. The street committee, the foundation, and the city council deserve a lot of recognition for the work going on across the city. Pretty much anywhere you go in town, you're going to drive on a new street to get there, a freshly paved street. And it's been a great shot of adrenaline like we intended it for our street maintenance program, and we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Regan, before we get to questions, we do have one citizen signed up to speak, so once I call your name, you can come to the podium. You'll have 5 minutes. Ryan Lowe.
I have some pictures for you. Let's bring them up. So I was signed up to, I'll let you guys get those in front of you.
If you could state your name for the record, please.
Ryan Lowe. Okay, so I signed up earlier to speak on another agenda item, and I noticed that there was going to be discussion on the CIP package in the street and the progress. I'm not here to bash anybody. I appreciate everybody that works for the city of Muskogee and tries to make Muskogee a better place. However, when we're dealing with taxpayers' money, we want to make sure we're good stewards of the taxpayers' money. A few weeks ago, I mentioned about Cherokee Street. There was a mill and overlay from Peak Boulevard to Old Maugee, and a lot of segregation and really looks poor. So I'll go through these real quick, and I don't know if I've got enough time, but these first few pictures, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a duplicate there, number 5, well, and 6, 7, and 8. That is S Street coming off of Chandler, like you're en route to the Alice Robinson Middle School. It's my understanding that that road was done back in the summer. You can see the condition there. We get past those. This next road is Toll, facing east. This is west from York Street. That's just a few months old, and as you guys can see, that's less than desirable. If I was paying to have my driveway done and it looked like that, then I would have a serious issue with that. The next one is Toll looking back to the west in the neighborhood. As you can see there, you can see the street underneath, the old street. That's just been done as well. The one after that is just a little closer look. The picture after that is the same. Another one on Toll just a little closer up. Toll again, and then as you get, there's a real close photo of segregation, and basically where I'm not an expert on this, but I'm told that's where you just don't get either bad asphalt or it doesn't bond together, and they call it segregating. The next photo where it looks like there's two different, there's like a line through there, that's Augusta. All of these last few photos are Augusta. Again, there's some close-up pictures of that as well. There's already been some patchwork done. I don't know if that was substandard or there was a water leak or what. Then when you get to the very end there, you'll see one that looks like a truck's drove off the side of the road there, and that's kind of caved in. All of those are from Cherokee. And you'll see where kind of the road's getting soft and coming apart. That road was 2 or 3 months ago. I understand there's going to be failures, but we shouldn't be patching roads that were repaved, whether they were micro-sealed or an overlay or a milling overlay. We shouldn't have to go back 2 or 3 months later and do it again, especially at the expense of a taxpayer. That was passed in 2019, and we should be able to get roads that last longer than a month or two. And I understand we're getting ready to ask the taxpayers of Muskogee to put an additional tax burden on their back with a bond issue. But until we can start being better stewards with the taxpayers' money, I don't feel like we should be asking the taxpayers to pay more. And I don't know if it's a lack of oversight or what the issue is. I would be interested in seeing whoever's inspecting these projects, what their qualifications are, if any. But I just think we deserve a little better, and I appreciate your time.
So, certainly we want to address each and every one of these opportunities. I know Mr. Stewart and Mr. Ridley may have some information they'd like to pass on now, and then we'd like to obviously address any of these issues moving forward.
Sure, we're not going to deny the failures that happen when we're paving, especially when you're paving as many miles as we are paving. He's right, Augusta Street's the one that we had some pretty drastic failures on, and that's one Avery mentioned in his report, where Brady Ross actually went and had the asphalt tested and found out that it wasn't up to standard, so he removed that and put in new asphalt, and that's at his expense, not at the city's. There's a picture in there on Cherokee Street where the shoulder is failing really bad, and we had a pretty bad water leak right there. It wasn't, the road didn't fail because of the work that was done. The road failed because of the water leak that was there that just basically ate it out from under it. The majority of the stuff that you're seeing has not been final paid, and that's stuff we're discussing right now with the contractor to correct before final payment comes up. And again, some of the stuff is just going to fail. If you look at some of his pictures, which kind of reflects what we were saying, when you put that heavy equipment on those chip seal streets that have been down for many, many years, it does cause that subbase to fail, and it shows up as that asphalt cures. We're very pleased with the results that we got, because the majority of these streets are in really great shape now, which gives us the opportunity to go back in and do the corrections to where it did fail. So that's what you get when you do maintenance work. The street, we don't know what's underneath it, and we just try to get it to the best condition that we can. We can go out and investigate these spots and bring a report back to the municipal council once. Not a problem. We're not going to deny failure. We're going to go out and try to repair it.
Right.
And if you know from the get-go, we've told you that what could happen.
How many total miles have we done?
So our goal was to get 100 miles in this program, and we're getting real close to that. There's 300 and I forgot 23 total center lane miles, which means one way,
right.
And then under 200 in residential. And a lot of these residentials are chip seal streets, which we don't do any longer. But the way they built those streets, they built them on top of just the clay.
Well, anyone that's been in construction is aware of these kind of problems. And I have a confidence in the street department to, as things deteriorate, or if there's a mistake, or as a batch of asphalt was bad, or whatever, that you're going to take care of those areas every bit as well as you've taken care of all the other areas in town. And I, for one, for what I've seen over the past 5-6 years, wonderful job.
We appreciate that.
Just a wonderful job.
But Councilor Kale, we are not going to deny failure. it's gonna happen in this work.
It's gonna happen. And I don't know what we're looking at right now, I'm sure there might be some more, but is it even 1% of the miles, 2%?
So I was talking to Avery the other day, and I told him I felt like we had somewhere between 90 and 95% success, but we do, him and I drive the streets every day.
You had 96 or 97.
And every time we see a failure, we both cringe, and then we start trying to figure out what we're gonna do to correct it. And we don't deny any of it. We'll take it to the street committee, we'll bring it to you. And we're doing the best we can with the taxpayers' money, and what I'm so pleased with, I've been at the city so many years, I went through all the lean years where we couldn't do street maintenance. And that's why we get these failures on top of what we're doing now, because we've neglected them too dang long. But I'm pleased with what we're doing.
Thank you, and I want to thank Mr. Lowe. It's nice to have citizens that care, and he's out looking at things. Things don't seem right to him, and I'm very, very appreciative of citizens that are good stewards, want to make sure things are done right, don't want to blow tax money away. So, thank you, Mr. Lowe.
Can I speak to that?
So Avery and I would be glad to take Mr. Lowe on a tour and go to these spots and discuss them with him if you'd like.
I don't think he can come back up and speak, but I would like you to take him up on that.
Can I make a comment?
No, sorry, I don't believe you can.
Every speaker's limited to 5 minutes on agenda items.
Okay.
I do have one thing to add. You asked how many miles. Just on the west side of town, northwest and southwest zone, we were at over 82, our last calculation, and we've paved some more since then. So we've almost met our goal just on one side of town. So we're getting a lot of bang for our buck out of this project.
Thank you.
So no action is needed on this item, correct? Thank you for the report, Commissioner Lowe. Item 10, please.
Consider approval for the city of Muskogee to submit a notice of intent to seek potential funding for the Meadows subdivision flood mitigation study in the amount of $150,000 and a citywide stormwater management plan in the amount of $500,000 to accept said grant funds if awarded and use the matching grant funds in the amount of $187,500 for these grants, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart.
Yeah, Avery and I are going to tag team this one just a little bit. I don't know if you recollect, but we did back in 21 put out an agenda item to go out for professional services to help us design a master drainage plan. And at that time, we approved Freeze and Nichols Engineering Company, and the wording that we used at that committee or that city council meeting was the submitted proposal would lay the groundwork for the development of a plan. That's what we're coming to you with today, is a request for this grant so that we can pay for a master drainage plan, and then that master drainage plan will allow us to go after more funding so that we can take care of some of the problems like the Meadows flooding. Tyler Evans and Avery, myself and Roger Coleman all worked on this. And at saying all that, I'm going to turn it over to Avery because he's the one that wrote the report and can get in a little more technical.
Yes, so the main purpose of this agenda item is to ask for the matching grant funds. And what we want to do with these matching grant funds is part of that's going to be allocated to the citywide master drainage plan, which Freeze and Nichols did lay the groundwork for. But what that is it's a complete inventory of the components, location, and condition of the public drainage system. It assesses the nature and magnitude of what could constitute a flooding event, the relative degree of flood risk for a specific area of town. And when I say a specific area, they will assign those priority for us to prioritize our projects better. And Mike had mentioned it briefly, but by going out and getting the stormwater master drainage plan, it opens the door for further grants in the physical work. So to get some of the grants that we would need to pay for these projects, we need to have the plan to show that we've done our due diligence to the granting party. And then the other part of this would be the flood study on the Meadows in particular. So it's two separate grants here. And the one on the Meadows would be to find a way to mitigate the risk of flood and to lower the threshold, or to increase the threshold for what's a flood event out there. So we would basically be paying for a hydraulic and hydrologic analysis to refine the nature and magnitude and risk of a flood and what constitutes a flood event. So these are some necessary steps that we have to take to secure further grant funding, and it's also got the beneficial byproduct by creating this master stormwater drainage plan for us and helping secure the funding to do a study on the meadows in particular.
And Mr. Chairman, I do want to re-recognize Tyler Evans. He put a lot of work into this.
We're happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? We'll entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Motion is second. If no further discussion, roll call, please.
Patrick Campbell.
Yes.
Lynn Boyette Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery. Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stone.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Item passes. Item number 11, please.
Consider approval of the lowest and best bid in the amount of $2,270,998.50, subtotal base plus add alternate number 1 bid from Cook Consulting LLC for Waterline Interconnects Package D, project number 2022024, as recommended by Cowan Group Engineering, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Reeves.
Package D Interconnect Waterline Pack Replacement Project is to replace 11,652 linear feet of 6-inch, 10-inch, and 12-inch water lines. Replacement of these water lines were based on the age of the water line and work orders related to repairs of the water line. The project will encompass 3rd Street, Martin Luther King Street, Fredonia Street, L Street, 10th Street, Boston Street, Spalding Street, E Street, and Gulick Avenue. There are portions thereof. Staff does recommend approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves. Any questions for Mr. Reeves? Entertain a motion. Oh, sorry.
Pardon me if I may ask. I mean, I don't want to interrupt the flow of the council, but I do. The context I want to give here just is that we've talked sometimes about our $17 million worth of water improvements that we've done and that we're in the process of doing. And as I mentioned earlier, okay, we're getting close to spending that $17 million. This is a big chunk of that. And so we've done improvements all through town. This is one of probably our last projects in that amount. I just want to, sometimes I skip over that part and I don't give you that context. And so we just want to make sure this is a part of a big $17 million of investment improving our water quality and replacing 11, almost 12,000 feet of water line is a huge project in and of itself, but it's just a part of a much huger project. But I want to make sure that we're paying attention to, because the council's made a big effort to clean up the water quality, and this is part of it. Sorry to interrupt.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to add to that. Mike reminded me of a point. We went out and did a water model and identified all kind of different aspects of our water system, and one of them was the faulty lines. So the lines that's been presented to you were actually selected by that water model.
Any further discussion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Roll call, please.
Patrick Campbell.
Yes.
Lynn Boyette Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout. Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes. Item passes. Item number 12, please.
Discuss a forensic audit with the City of Muskogee financial records or take other necessary action.
Mrs. McGee, we do have two signed up to speak. We go ahead and let them speak, and then you can talk. Okay. First person we have is Greg Webb. If you would come up to the podium and leave your name, you'll have 5 minutes.
Appreciate the opportunity to address the council and look forward to it. I want to thank Patrick Cale. We had a couple of good conversations before the election, and he encouraged me
Excuse me, sir,
to.
sorry. Sir, you didn't just take your name for the record.
Oh, I thought they said nope.
You have to know.
Greg Webb.
Thank you.
I live in Ward 4. Used to live in Ward 1. He encouraged me to stay informed and engaged after the election, and I took him at his word. We have a lot of big opportunities ahead of us, and we got big challenges. And so what I wanted to speak out in support of was the forensic audit. One of the things, talking with Mayor Coleman over the last few years, And when he would address various groups, talk to me personally, we'd ask him questions. He said, whoa, that was before my time. I'm not responsible for that. And ultimately, he's right. We are responsible. Citizens of Muskogee are responsible for everything that happens in Muskogee. If something goes wrong, it happened, the genesis was 20 years ago, we can't go back and get them, we have to pay for it. And so, I just want to make sure, because we're going to need a bond issue. We're going to need to make major projects to bring in Stardust Technologies, Polaris, Bitcoin, and we're going to need to have the infrastructure to build the house. We're going to need all of this, and it's going to take money. I just want to make sure, when Jesus told a parable of building on the rock or building on the sand, good weather doesn't matter, but when storms come, and storms always come, and we're going to see some doozies this year, I want to make sure we're building on rock. I want to go back and find out where we erred, where problems happened. Correct it. Because we're all in it together. And there's talent here. And there's talent coming on. And so, some of us concerned citizens that want to be engaged, we're going to have a learning curve to come up to speed and to work with you. But we're here with you. We want to see Muskogee. When I left 1971, when I graduated from high school and left, I was gone 30 years. When I came back, I was taken aback at the changes. They weren't all good. Very few of them were good. In the last 20-something years, the slides continued. I want to arrest that. And I know people here do too. And so I'm thankful for the council we have, the administration we have, the people we have. But I want to make sure when we go forward standing on rock, and we go forward together. So that's why I wanted to address that and just speak out and encourage you all to be in support of that. I don't think we have anything to fear because, again, we all want to have a great Muskogee to live and work and play. Thank you very much.
Mr. Webb. Next citizen we have signed up to speak is Mr. Ryan Lowe. Mr. Lowe, if you'll just state your name and get to the podium, please. Record.
Would you say?
If you'll just state your name for record, please.
Okay, Ryan Lowe. Good evening, everyone. I appreciate the opportunity to speak again as well. I'm here tonight in favor of a forensic audit for the city of Muskogee. Not an audit bought and paid for by you, one that actually ensures complete and unbiased information performed by state officials. For years and years, we have all heard the allegations concerning local corruption, backdoor deals, misappropriations of funds, and misuse of taxpayer money. What a great opportunity to clean the slate and show that our local city leaders are being good stewards of our taxpayer dollars. I know that you will probably bring up the cost of said audit for the taxpayers of Muskogee. The truth is, we can't afford not to have one. In order for our community to move forward, we have to have a transparent local city government. What we've done for the last 50 years simply is not working. Our population numbers prove that. I urge you as council members tonight to have the courage to vote for a forensic audit that not only covers city coffers and operations, but includes all trust boards, committees, and the foundation. Thank you for your time.
Ms. McGee?
I just want to say that I brought this item to you tonight to discuss it because there has been complaints about the lack of transparency and accountability to the citizens. My concern is that we have not been adequate checks and balances on financing. I know for a fact when I was elected in 2020, when I first got here, first thing I found was $1 million error or oversight in our employee health insurance. I understand that the citizens' concerns and believes if we show our citizens we are accountable to the people. That's why they elected you to be accountable and good stewards of the money. So I ask you to be open-minded tonight, to have that discussion so that you guys can bring it back to yourselves and vote on it. Not tonight, because it's a nice discussion. An audit that will show forth that we are good stewards of the citizens' money. Thank you.
So without any motion for this item, is there any further comment or discussion? I guess for some transparency, just to put on public record, I would just like to say this. City Council considers every claim that comes through 3 times in public meetings. First in the purchasing committee, which is chaired by Councilor Stout, Deputy Mayor Reed, and also Councilor McGee. Then in the Finance Committee, which includes all council members, then in full city council. The claims are on all placed on the agendas for each meeting and published on the city website also. So there can be access to where you can see those. The website has claims dating back to 2011 currently. As far as audits, we do have annual audits by an independent third-party auditor, which is required by the state of Oklahoma. City council approves the hiring of the auditor, and the auditor comes before the city council, presents the audit. They point to things that we can do better, and then checks on us to see, it follows up with us to see if we do what the recommendations were. The annual audit is then submitted to the state of Oklahoma for further review. So I just wanted that placed on the record, so just to explain like how the process is currently. And as of that, if there's no further discussion, meeting's adjourned.